remember, we've got gold nuggets, okay? So there's something in this talk that is going to inspire you, that's going to lift you up. Yes?
Yes.
Thank you. And then at the end, if you're willing to share that, we love hearing that. So I'm going to ask you some questions this morning. And the first is, are you ready to live an extraordinary life?
Yes.
Thank you. You guys are good. Okay. Are you ready to be unstoppable in all you do and all that you are?
Yes.
Okay, some of you, that's good. Okay, today is your day to remind ourselves to keep on keeping on with the best spirit ever. Yes?
Yes.
Good. Are you willing to step into the joy of becoming?
Yes.
Well, a couple of you. Okay. Kind of, thank you. Kind of nudge the person next to you and say, I think it'll work for you. Okay. So first, let's take a look at what Ernest Holmes said. And this is the, if you choose to be with Susan and I this afternoon, this is the book we're using. It's our Science of Mind magazine. We have 2 left, I think, in the back, if you're wanting to buy one. Okay, so we're going to take a look at this month's Science of Mind magazine and what Ernest Holmes, our founder, has said. And I love this. And I want you to be reminded, I want to remind us all, that he wrote this in the early 60s. See how present it pertains. For the most part, you seem to be living in an age of turmoil. Both the external world and your inner world of the mind appear to be in a state of confusion. Anybody relate to that? Okay. There seems to be a lack of stability of what to think or what should be proper reaction to things and events. But then, he says, most people have felt that way about the period in which they have lived. I love that. The moment I read that this month, I said, yes. For every period, every generation has found these places in life's events that they question, they ask, how do we do this? How do we work with this? And then he goes on to say, however, throughout the ages, there have been those who have found enjoyment, peace, and contentment in spite of the conditions of the world around them. Ah, everybody breathe into that. This is what we do here. We come together to see something greater than what conditions or situations are taking place in our lives. So, if you choose to be with Susan and I afterwards, please do. Because this is the time. And we remind you that Ernest Holmes wrote this at that time, in 1960. So the joy of becoming, I did that, yes. The joy of becoming means it's up to each one of us to find enjoyment, to find peace, to find contentment in spite of the conditions of the world around us and in our own personal lives. Yes? So I'm going to ask you, are you willing, no matter what or how life has shown up, to step into joy?
Yes.
Good, one of you. Thank God.
Yes.
It is possible, you know. No matter what is taking place in your life, it is possible to say, I am willing in this moment to step into joy. I am willing in this moment to step into greater possibilities. It's up to each one of us to commit ourselves, to commit our lives to change what and how we believe about incidents, issues, events, and circumstances. It's how we define life that is what can change within us and change the atmosphere. A practitioner friend of mine in LA, his brother is a homeless person up here somewhere in Northern California. And my friend and his sisters They have kept constantly finding him jobs, finding him places to live. And he stays for a while, and then pretty soon he's back to the homeless encampment. And what my friend realized is that his brother, that was his place to live. It disappointed him. The family kept trying to change this man's perception. But my friend finally realized that his brother loved his homeless life. It's not on drugs. It's just a different way to live. And so now the family has relaxed on this whole idea that that's a bad thing, because his brother has a whole community of people that he takes care of that take care of him. And the brother returns for periodic visits with his family to tell them great stories about his life in the camp. A quote from Randy Pasha says, "You can't change the cards you've been dealt, but you can change how you play your game." Why don't you take a moment and listen to that? We've all been dealt different hands of cards, but we can just go and bemoan it. We always have a choice. We can live life from a place where we are absolutely convinced that all is well. Try this one on. And that you are divinely guided and inspired in every event. We have a choice. All is well. I am divinely guided. I am inspired to go a certain way, to live a certain way. This is our right. It's how you play the game. Or you can live in a space of lack, limitation, and overwhelm. Anybody ever done that? I certainly have. Oh God, how will I live? How will I handle this awful thing? Anybody awfulizing? Yeah. I think we have to do that to finally get to that place where we say, wait a second, I have a choice. We each make the choice daily on how we're going to look at the events that are taking place. The joy of becoming means we trust life. And we trust our inner wisdom. We willingly partner with the Spirit that lives within us. We trust Spirit to guide us. We trust Spirit to bring to us that is needed in our lives. And we begin to understand that we live in divine partnership. Because you see, the choice is ours. We each have to make that choice. So I choose to put my most powerful and most favorite saying everywhere. Does anybody have a favorite saying they put everywhere? I put mine on the mirror in my bathroom. It's next to my meditation chair. And it's on the dashboard of my car. You will know which car is mine out there. Just go look at the dashboard. I believe in it. I believe in this saying, no matter what. And my quote says, everything always works out for me. Let's say that together. Everything always works out for me. I say it all the time. I say it no matter what's going on. And here are some of my examples. Have you ever been in an airplane, and as you're flying over the city that you're entering, you see on the freeways traffic stuck, yes? But then, have you ever noticed that there's these openings of the traffic? Like people seem to drive in packs. But there's a space. So my husband Rick always complains about the Roseville Freeway because he has a really hard time getting on. I tell him everything always works out for me. I'm put that on his dashboard. So I go down to Roseville and I come on the freeway and I always say, oh gee, I'm entering where Rick really has a problem. I said, but everything always works out for me. And every time I do that, the traffic is way back there because you see they're back there in packs. Everything always works out for me. This last week, I got an infection, and I could tell on Monday morning that I needed some help, and I needed to get to the doctor. So just before my meditation, I said, yeah, I know, I can feel it in my body. I need some assistance. And I'm sitting there in the meditation chair, and all of a sudden Spirit goes, go now. There's been a cancellation. I said, okay, got dressed, because the doctor's office is just right across the street from where we live, practically. And I walked in, told them what my problem was. And they said, well, why don't you come in? We have a cancellation. You see, everything always works out for me. When we make that declaration to this life, it's amazing what doors will open for you. My assistant, Naomi, has gotten really busy with other jobs. And for 3 weeks, she hasn't been able to be here because, you see, we only use her for about 4 hours. So that's why I'm doing the bulletin. So she's going to move on because I go, okay, I really need some help here, and everything always works out for me. And there's a whole team of people that have stepped up and said, we'll help you out. Do you see how it works? We've got to play with the cards we've been dealt, but it's how we play that game. Everything always works out for me, for you, for this community. Because we are a faith-based community, and our foundation is faith. It is sureness that there is a power for good that desires to support each and every one of us. I didn't always believe that. But the more I work it, the more I live it, the more it lives and works with me. It's time that we each declare our faith. No matter where you are in your life, declare it, claim it. No matter what cards you've been dealt with, play with the cards with faith. There's a lot of good books that Mary Ellen has given us back there. Take Reverend Suzanne's class. Pick up one of the Science of Mind magazines, their monthly inspiration. Trust that the very creator of life wants you to win. The creator, whatever you want to call it, spirit, the divine, the beloved, God, infinite, divine, spirit, whatever it is, wants you to win. Take that in. Are you willing to win?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Okay, lean into somebody else because you know it. Decide to be grateful for everything. It wasn't easy for me to try and do the bulletin. But you lean into it. You say, oh, I didn't know we could do that. Do you see? Our only sacrifice we're being asked to make is to surrender our doubts, to surrender our fears, to continue moment by moment in an affirmative attitude. Everything always works out for me. Claiming the universe wants us to win in this game of life. A couple of people admired this jacket I'm wearing today. I always place that some things come to me, that I have these great jackets because it looks good on Facebook, yes? And they show up. So I want to finish today with more of Ernest Holmes. And let's see where that is. Oh yeah, here it is at the end. And he says at the end of his article, and I'm really impressed with what the editors and people who contribute to this magazine do, because they find these old pieces of Ernest Holmes in the archives and they share it with us. And these are not in the textbooks. But anyway, Ernest says, the kingdom of heaven is not a place, but a state of consciousness. God is not a person, but an essence. And a man proclaims that this essence and atmosphere is personal, and so it is. But in this way, personal to us, through us. Let's make this year end up as we move forward to that Christ consciousness. Join Reverend John and myself on this Wednesday, and let's talk about what does the Christ consciousness mean to us, and allow it to awaken. And then the next page, I love Reverend David Alexander, and he says at the bottom of his section, the answer is all around us. Birds don't sign up for Discover Your Inner Chirp. I like that. We might have a seminar, right, Reverend Suzanne? Discover Your Inner Chirp. Okay. The trees don't long for the healing of your inner sapling intensive. We do that. We do that because we don't believe that we already have the song of God within us. We already have the life force within us that is going to serve us. You see, humanity forgets it can't be separated from the all. God can't be separated from itself, no matter what the conditions look like on the outside. There is a truth we must each make for ourselves. Travel well, he says. We need to find our own truth in becoming that essence of joy. Everything always works out for me. Everything always works out for you. If you're willing to claim it, if you're willing to accept it. We just need to claim it. Let us each be ready to live an extraordinary life. I am. Are you? Yes. Good. Let's take that into prayer. And so we just breathe into this sacred and holy place that we have created here together, knowing and accepting that there's only one life, one power, one all-loving, all-nurturing, powerful presence, by whatever name. God, the infinite, the divine, the beloved. It is the life breath that breathes within me and breathes within you. It is the very beat of our heart. And so we allow this day, this fullness and richness of God to express, to expand, to explore, and to be explored within each and every one of us as we stay open and available to becoming that greater sense of joy and unity with the divine. This is what I know to be true. And what I know is that if there's a need for healing, I call forth that miracle-working power of God to awaken deep within you, to awaken, to move, to create that atmosphere of wholeness and harmony within every cell, muscle, fiber, and tissue of your body temple. It's all good. It's all God. And knowing and accepting that this powerful truth, and so much more than what I can speak now, is already taking place in each and every one of us, our lives. Everything always works out for each and every one of us. We accept it, we're open to it, we allow it to be so. And so I just release this, my powerful word, into that ever-living, loving law of God that always says yes, returning to and through each and every one.